My name is Chef Elijah Amoo Addo. I'm from Ghana, but I'm a son of Africa. Across Africa, I'm known as the doctor in the kitchen. Reason being that growing up, I was born in a family where I was the only boy, and so my parents wanted me to become a medical doctor, which in Africa, we are made to know the best job is to become either a doctor, a politician, or a lawyer. And so that was what they wanted me to become. But unfortunately, I lost my parents at the tender age of 14. And everything changed. Changed from the point of losing up on my dream of becoming a medical doctor. But what made me a doctor in the kitchen was that the moment I enjoyed with my mom as the only son was in the kitchen. So I find happiness and joy anytime I'm in the kitchen. So I thought of it. At the point when I finished my junior secondary education, my relatives prescribed all kinds of career path for me to join. Some said I should become a teacher, which I told them I would be the most horrible teacher. But I realized, why don't I become a chef? But then you ask yourself, how many chef schools do we have in Africa? That's one question I asked myself back then. It's the only closest accessibility I had was in Nigeria, so I had to go and school in Nigeria. And then it brought in the cycle of migration. That was my first time of ever having to move from my country to another country at the age of 14 years. In Nigeria, as I pursue my dream, one thing that I thought was, well, if I become a chef and I should move to Europe, I'll have better opportunities. That was the mindset. So I actually at a point attempted migrating, and not just the regular migration, but the irregular ones through the Libya Mediterranean to actually arrive in Europe, because I thought, well, there will be much opportunities here, and since I have a likeness for cooking, obviously I might earn a job in a restaurant and then possibly go to a chef school and be the African Jimmy Oliver. But it occurred to me that, well, what the Europeans did to Africa, some Europeans actually introduced, they didn't just come take our resources, but they introduced some food products to us, and they also took the food products that we have back to other places. For instance, on the menu today, we have cassava as one of the main ingredients. And cassava is so common in Africa, you will be mistaken that cassava belongs to Africa, just like with cocoa. But it's actually the Portuguese that introduced cassava to Africa from Brazil. So it creates that very reason why we are here. Partnership of equals. What do we do in Ghana? As a chef who have attempted irregular migration back into my country, I thought, how can I contribute to the developmental agenda of Ghana and Africa? What are the shortfalls? And to tell you, if I'm here today, it's basically based on my passion. Usually at programs like this, it's the mostly you don't count the chef to be part at the table discussing. We usually will be in the kitchen to make sure you have a great and fantastic lunch. So when the EurAfrican Forum decided this time they want to work with me in telling the story of how we can use food as a catalyst to improve the socio-economic development of Africa. I thought it is the right opportunity. We are working in Ghana, we are working with over 45 young people who actually attempted migrating to Europe without any skill. They just thought, well, if I get to Europe, definitely magic will happen and I'll get the opportunity to earn money and send back to Africa to do something for myself. And they attempted, but they failed. So when they come back, what we do is we pick them. We have an hospitality and tourism industry that is growing at a huge space. However, we have a shortfall in meeting the human resource demand for our hospitality industry. And I've been fortunate enough to work with some hotels across the continent to help train some of these youth to today become chefs, cooks, waiters, and even working as F&B managers within our hospitality industry. And I believe at a forum like this, it is one of the tools we can explore to make sure that we help encourage and train the youth so that they can build career path within the hospitality industry. And I'm grateful for this opportunity. Developing the menu, I had to work with Chef Marcelo, who is a Portuguese. I introduced him. He's a Portuguese. But when we started the conversation, speaking with him because he speaks more of Portuguese, we had barriers. But when we started talking about ingredients and food, the blend, the relationship through food has been amazing. And we're thinking of great ideas to share with Africa and then the rest of Europe. Chef Marcelo will share how we came about the menu and introduce you to the menu. Then once you can enjoy your lunch. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a great pleasure to meet Chef Elijah. We just tried to get the best menu for today, trying to get the connection between Portugal, Europe, and Africa. For today, we're just starting with gazpacho. It's a traditional cold soup from Portugal. It's a tomato soup with a crispy ham and toast. And then we will have a sea bream, braised sea bream with asparagus risotto, together with a cassava crumble. That's where we try to introduce the African thing. After that, for the dessert, we're having a cassava cake. Again, we're trying to introduce the cassava in the dessert with São Tomé chocolate mousse, because cacao is very important it's coming from Africa, and that's it.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your lunch.